You're wasting thousands of pounds each month on rent you'll never own, while coastal towns are practically giving houses away for under £90,000. Not deposits, entire houses. The same price as 2 years of London rent. And nobody's buying them. You're being told the property ladder is impossible, yet 7 UK coastal towns have houses cheaper than financing a new car. Flats start at £75,000. Terraced houses from £81,000. Estate agents are begging for buyers. Councils are desperate to stop depopulation. Your £30,000 deposit is rotting in savings while houses sit empty. This isn't the 1980s. This is February 2026. Here are 7 coastal towns where buying costs less than renting. Grimsby is not a myth. Right now, you can buy a Victorian terraced house for £81,000 or even a flat for £75,000, less than 2 years' rent in London. Local rents in Grimsby average £675 a month, but a mortgage on that £81,000 house with a 5% deposit and a mainstream lender comes in around £320 per month. That is a saving of £355 every single month, over £4,200 a year, just for owning instead of renting. 3 years of rent here is £24,300 gone forever, enough to nearly buy the house outright. You are told the north is grim, but estate agents here are practically begging for buyers. The council is pouring millions into the Victorian Quarter and waterfront, desperate to stop the exodus and bring empty homes back to life. Hartlepool tells the same story, only tighter. Terraced houses routinely list from £75,000 to £96,000. The rent for a similar place sits at roughly £554 a month. But a mortgage on an £85,000 house at today's rates is about £340. That is £214 in your pocket every month, or £2,568 a year, just for switching from rent to ownership. Hartlepool's £31.5 million waterfront regeneration is underway, yet the stigma sticks and buyers stay away. Mortgages are approved quickly, banks see low default risk, and yet houses sit empty. If you are still renting, you have to ask, why are these homes so cheap, and why is nobody buying them? New Biggin by the Sea barely makes a ripple on the national radar, but right now, you can buy a 2-bedroom terrace here for £84,000. Rents in the village hover around £500 a month. With a 5% deposit, your mortgage drops to about £360 a month, meaning you save £140 every single month just by owning instead of renting. That is £1,680 a year, and over 3 years, you are £5,000 ahead, not counting the equity you are building. The new promenade, lined with public art and fresh paving, was supposed to lure buyers back, but the beach remains quiet and the property listings stack up. Then there is Blackpool, Britain's most famous seaside resort, with its tower, arcades and constant stream of stag parties, should be immune to this. Yet flats and terraces routinely list for £80,000 to £90,000, less than the price of a family car. Local rents for similar flats can hit £650 to £700, but a mortgage on an £85,000 home is around £360 a month. That is a £340 difference, money that disappears every month if you are renting. One estate agent, exasperated, says they are pleading for buyers to even view properties, despite Blackpool's £300 million in seafront upgrades and tram extensions. The crowds come for a weekend, but the homes go unsold for months. Here, popularity and investment do not mean high prices. The bargains are real, and the supply just keeps growing. Salt Coats, on Scotland's Ayrshire coast, breaks every rule you have been told about the UK property market. Right now, flats and terraces list for under £90,000, with some 2-bedroom properties at £82,000. Local rents average £600 a month, yet a mortgage on that £82,000 house, with a 5% deposit, is about £350. That is £150 saved every single month, £1,800 a year, just for owning instead of renting. 3 years of rent in Saltcoats is £21,600 gone forever, nearly a quarter of the purchase price. The stigma of the Celtic fringe keeps buyers away, but the commute to Glasgow is under an hour by train, and new investment is flowing into the seafront. Port Talbot in South Wales tells the same story with a different accent. Terraced houses here routinely list from £88,000 to £95,000. The average rent for a similar home is £550 a month, but a mortgage on a £90,000 house is around £310. That is a £240 monthly saving, or nearly £3,000 a year. The Welsh Government is pouring millions into coastal regeneration, trying to reverse decades of job losses from the steelworks. Councils are desperate to stop the slide, offering grants and empty home incentives, but the buyers just are not coming. Fleetwood, at the edge of Lancashire, offers stability others can only wish for. Houses here list from £85,000 to £90,000, with rents averaging £600. A mortgage on an £88,000 house is about £302 a month, saving you £298 every month. That is over £3,500 a year, or £17,500 in 5 years, enough to buy the house outright in rent savings alone. Fast trains to Manchester and Liverpool, a busy port, yet the property listings stack up. This is not a northern anomaly or a one-town fluke. It is a pattern across the UK, stretching from the Scottish coast to the Welsh valleys and the northwest. The evidence is undeniable. You are being told the market is impossible, while whole towns are quietly giving homes away. The bargains are not just a fluke. They are the fallout of a broken system. Coastal towns like Grimsby, Hartlepool and Blackpool are not cheap by accident. They are cheap because the jobs vanished. Since 2000, fishing collapsed in the Humber, steelworks in Port Talbot cut thousands of jobs, and tourism in Blackpool is now gig work, not careers. In Hartlepool, over a third of neighbourhoods are ranked among England's most deprived. Nearly 30% of working-age residents are not in work at all. The numbers do not lie. More than 1,600 homes in Grimsby and 4,500 in Blackpool sit empty, boarded up or left to rot. Councils slap tax premiums on empty properties, but it barely makes a dent. Brexit promised revival, but the opposite happened. European Union funds dried up and new trade barriers hit ports and factories, especially in towns that voted for change. Young people left for cities like Manchester and Newcastle, chasing jobs that never came back. What is left is an ageing population. Census data shows the median age in these towns climbing every year. Schools close, shops shut, buses run half empty. The property listings keep growing, but buyers do not. Stigma sticks. The north is painted as grim, the coast as a dead end. Southern buyers stay away, convinced it is all hopeless. But the real crisis is oversupply. Too many houses, not enough people. Councils pour millions into waterfronts and public art, but without new jobs or families, the numbers do not add up. One local leader put it bluntly, if we do not fill these homes, we cannot keep the schools or hospitals open. The cheap houses are a symptom, not a miracle. Until the cycle breaks, entire streets will stay empty, no matter how low the price drops. Buying a petrol car in 2026 is a financial trap, and most people do not realise just how deep the hole goes. The UK ban on new petrol and diesel car sales is locked in for 2035. The real squeeze is already here. The ultra-low emission zone, once just a city thing, now stretches across the M25, and more cities are copying the model every year. Manchester, Birmingham, Bristol, Glasgow, they are all rolling out clean air zones, and all are adding daily charges on older petrol vehicles. It is not a question of if your town will join, but when. Running costs are out of control. The average petrol car now drains over £4,000 a year, once you add fuel, insurance, tax, maintenance, and ULEZs, or congestion charges. That is before you even factor in depreciation, which is accelerating as the 2035 cutoff approaches. Every year your car loses value faster, and resale markets are drying up. Try selling a 10-year-old petrol car in 2030. Buyers will be rare and prices will be brutal. Compare that to a mortgage on a real house in a northern coastal town. For £330 a month, you could own a home outright in Grimsby, Hartlepool or Fleetwood. That is less than the running cost of the average petrol car. Over 3 years, you would spend £12,000 just keeping a car on the road, money you will never get back. In the same time, you could have built equity in a house that is actually appreciating, not rusting in a driveway. ULA's expansion is not slowing down. The list of cities charging £12.50 or more per day for older petrol cars grows every month. By the end of this decade, almost every major UK city will penalise petrol drivers, and fuel prices are anything but stable. If you are thinking of spending £10,000 or more on a petrol car right now, stop. That is a deposit on a house, one that could save you thousands every year instead of locking you into a spiral of fees, charges and guaranteed losses. The numbers do not lie. In 2026, a petrol car is a liability, but a coastal house under £90,000 is still an opportunity. Right now, whole houses in Grimsby, Hartlepool, Port Talbot and beyond are still listed for £75,000 to £90,000. Mortgages can be half of local rents and sometimes cost less than a new car. Zoopla shows the numbers. Local councils are begging for buyers. If you're still renting, search the listings, visit these towns and calculate the costs. Your dead money is buying someone else's future, never yours.